For two reasons, the Tuskegee Airmen are remembered in history. Above all, their very existence was a significant victory for the U.S. military. Before the Tuskegee Airmen, no such thing as a black pilot existed, according to the National World War II Museum. All black people in the United States were prohibited from achieving any higher position than that of a regular soldier by the Jim Crow laws. However, the great bravery and dedication of the Tuskegee Airmen made them stand out even more. They were brilliant at what they did, but they also altered history. The valiant efforts undertaken to battle the Axis forces during World War II, which lasted from 1939 to 1945, gave rise to many amazing stories. One such narrative that has been immortalized in history is the Tuskegee Airmen saga, which is detailed in Masters of the Air. Within the U.S. Army Air Forces, there was an all-black unit known as the Tuskegee Airmen. Together, they comprised the 477th Bombardment Group and the 332nd Fighter Group. The unit received multiple awards for their service and was well known for their outstanding performance during the conflict. Black activists battled particularly hard for their right to fly in the next war because black recruits were denied the opportunity to train to become pilots during World War I. Congress passed Appropriations Bill Public Law 18, permitting the funding of black pilot training, in April 1939 as a result of the tireless efforts of these civil rights advocates. Then, when the war reached the United States in 1941, a large number of black soldiers seized the chance to train as pilots. The Tuskegee University Civilian Pilot Training Program was the catalyst for the creation of the Tuskegee Airmen. Numerous black men were able to train as pilots because of this program, which made them so qualified that the U.S. military was unable to turn them down. In addition, the men underwent a battery of exams to ensure that the airmen were the most intelligent and physically fit applicants. The 99th Squadron left for overseas duty in April 1943 after undergoing rigorous training at Tuskegee, Alabama, and the 332nd Fighter Group joined them in February 1944. Throughout the conflict, these two units were in action. The 500th mission of the Tuskegee Airmen is shown in Masters of the Air. This is an amazing amount, especially because the 332nd Fighter Group had only been in Europe for 4 months before. But one side of this was the kinds of missions the airmen conducted. The Tuskegee Airmen were not flying over dangerous areas of Europe where they would soon perish, in contrast to the 100th Bomb Group. Actually, the squadron did not see more perilous flights over France until June 1944. This explains why the men of the 100th Bomb Group struggled to survive 25 missions, whereas the Tuskegee Airmen accomplished 500 flights. The Tuskegee Airmen concentrated their efforts on less dangerous zones like Italy, where survival was more than conceivable, while the 100th were being sent on numerous continuous missions over Germany, where being shot down was nearly a given. Although both squadrons were contributing significantly to the war effort, they undoubtedly witnessed very different types of warfare. Another feature that set the Tuskegee Airmen apart was their moniker, Red Tails. In contrast to the somber nickname of the 100th, the Bloody Hundredth, the Red Tails were a lighthearted reference to the red paint the Tuskegee Airmen applied to the tails of their P-47 aircraft. Their P-51 Mustang aircraft also had crimson noses. The red detailing on the Tuskegee Airmen's planes distinguished them different from other air squadrons, much as how Easy Company of the Band of Brothers had spades on their helmets. This coloring may have seemed perilous, since it may have made their planes stand out to opponents. The 100th Bomb Group takes part in the D-Day invasion of Europe in Masters of the Air Episode 8. June 1944 was a significant month for the squadron even though the Tuskegee Airmen were not yet part of the D-Day assault. At last, the Tuskegee Airmen were being dispatched on heavy bomber escort missions as the 100th Bomber Regiment struck German transportation routes, including highways and bridges. The men were now getting to fly over active area, including France and Germany, whereas before they had taken part in smaller, less hazardous flights in Italy. While Masters of the Air briefly examines the Tuskegee Airmen, other movies go into greater detail about this well-known World War II unit. You can watch the 1995 film The Tuskegee Airmen, which stars Lawrence Fishburne, on Max. Disney Plus is now offering Red Tails, a movie from 2012, for streaming. Additionally, the documentary Double Victory, The Tuskegee Airmen at War offers a viewpoint that is more scholarly. In any case, the history of the Tuskegee Airmen is unquestionably worthwhile, and their appearance in Masters of the Air greatly enhances the tale of the 100th. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.